What's going on? Aaron Zams out here with the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast. Today, I am going to give you top 10 reasons why you should get off your butt and stay exercising consistently as a first responder. Stay tuned.
You are listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow.
What's going on, everybody? Aaron Zamzow here with the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast. We're going to talk today a lot about why you need to stay consistent with your fitness as a first responder, as a firefighter, EMT, and medic. I know that we go through these ebbs and flows with our fitness. You know, sometimes we are a little bit more motivated than others. Sometimes, we have a definitive goal we work towards. But as a first responder, we don't get the benefit of being in season, out of season, postseason, preseason. We're always in season. So, with that in mind, you got to find ways, dig a little bit deeper at times to find ways to stay consistent. And what we're going to talk about today is the top 10 reasons. Now, these aren't the top 10. These are actually 10 reasons. And I got another 11 coming at you in a couple of weeks. There's actually 21 reasons why I feel every first responder needs to consistently and functionally work out. But we're going to talk about the top 10 today. And my goal with this is to get your mind going a little bit, thinking a little bit differently about fitness, and maybe motivating you to get up off the seat. And hopefully you're listening to this as you are working out. Maybe gets you to pedal a little bit faster. So here we go. Top 10 or first 10. The first one, and I think it comes down to pride, man. Why should you stay consistent, or why do you need to exercise? Why should you exercise? It's because you can. Right? It's when you start to think of exercise as a chore, you change your mindset. Instead, I think about it as it's a blessing, especially if you take a different perspective. Look around at people. There's some people that don't have the luxury of being able to, whether it's a health issue, whether it's some type of accident. So I just kind of think about my body and movement a little bit differently. Every day is a blessing. Every day is an opportunity to try to improve my fitness. And once you set that mind in that direction, it gets a little bit more easy to get off your butt and to do your workout. So first and foremost, why should you work out? It's because you can. Okay. So, and I know we all have aches and pains, and every morning I kind of feel it as well. But as I start to move a little bit better and move throughout the day, I just get motivated because I can work out. And hopefully some of these reasons coming in the next couple here will help resonate another more definitive, kind of motivation for you. But the second reason is that exercise consistently reduces blood pressure. And now there's a lot of stress in the fire service. There's a lot of stress as first responders, and exercise helps. One of the bad parts or effects of that stress is high blood pressure. It can cause hardening and thickening of the arteries, which leads to heart attacks and strokes and other complications, which, by the way, that's why right now, one of the top reasons why we die as firefighters is heart attack and strokes. So you can reduce your blood pressure and control it with consistent exercise. Hypertensive conditions are all around us when you look around the fire service. So by exercising, you can reduce your blood pressure. In a lot of cases, I've had members of the FRF Nation contact me and say, hey, I can actually go off my blood pressure medication if I consistently work out. So number one, you work out because you can. Number two, you work out because it monitors and controls your blood pressure. Number three, it builds aerobic power. And your aerobic capacity is your body's ability to work at maximum, oxygen consumption, where, for us, a lot of times we're on an SCBA, which restricts our oxygen flow because of the mechanisms of the SCBA. So we really need to work a little bit harder in those conditions, or our bodies have to, in order to do the job. So by training, you improve your aerobic power, which doesn't put as much stress on your heart, which then can decrease your chances of sudden cardiac arrest. But also by working your heart, you improve your performance and you improve your conditioning. So there's so many other things that go along with it. And I know you're thinking right now, hey, well, some of these are pretty generic answers, but it, they need to be talked about, right? You work out, you're going to improve your cardiovascular conditioning. I mean, that's if you work out functionally, and that's going to transfer to a better performance, and that's going to transfer to possibly being able to save someone else's life, whether you're seconds away from rescuing someone or seconds away from pulling your own crew member out of a bad predicament. So exercise to work your aerobic power. Number 4, exercise actually makes you happy. People always ask me, like, why are you in such a good mood all the time? Well, it's not always the case, but for the most part, when I work out consistently, I feel much better. The endorphins are going and I'm more happy. Study after study confirms that there's a direct relationship actually between exercise and increase in the feel good hormones. You know, it can impact your brain, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get in the list. But for the biggest reason, though, you get those endorphins going and you feel better. My crew actually probably would confirm this because they know I get a little crabby if I don't get my workout in throughout the shift, and sometimes that happens just due to nature of calls and what we do. But exercise can lift your spirits, can make you happy. Number 5, lowers type 2 diabetes risk. This kind of ties in with number 2, which is reducing blood pressure, but it also reduces your risk of diabetes. There's an increase in the prevalence of type 2 diabetes in general population, especially in the fire service. That's due to the stress, that's due to the obesity, that's due to the overweight, and our diets. So by exercising, you improve your body's use of insulin, and that helps with not only weight loss, but it improves insulin sensitivity, which then can transfer onto controlling and decreasing your risk of diabetes, especially the type 2. And number 5, we talked about it, to lower blood pressure, but that also then lowers cholesterol levels, heart attacks and strokes, leading cause of our fatalities right now. Now, if you're listening to this a couple years down the road, I think it's going to be cancer, and we'll talk about that further in the list. But research continually shows that regular exercise helps keep blood pressure, we talked about that, and cholesterol within healthy ranges. Here's why. You work your heart gets stronger. It's a muscle. And then also, the stronger your heart is, the less pressure has to be exerted on your arteries. So those two kind of go hand in hand, and it just decreases your chances of getting that heart attack and stroke. And for me, I believe this is one of the biggest reasons why we need to work out as first responders. This controlling our weight, controlling our blood pressure, controlling cholesterol really helps. And the more that we can preach this, hopefully the more that we reach people, within the fire service, because that's honestly what's killing us right now. So lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol. Number 7, this is big because of COVID, and I think we've all seen this. And if you look at the COVID research right now, not a lot of people are talking about severity of COVID to those people that are obese. I've heard or read that like 78% of the deaths are in people that have a previous health issue or are obese. 78% of the COVID deaths. Now, one of the reasons why is that, when you exercise, you maintain a healthy weight, but you also can cause changes in antibodies and white blood cells, which then can help fight disease. So you have antibodies and white blood cells, they can circulate more rapidly in more fit individuals. Well, it also makes a little bit of sense. If you're exercising, you're circulating your blood a little bit more. Now, there's a little bit too that talks about body temperature. When you exercise, you actually increase your body temperature a little bit, which may help prevent like bacteria from growing. Now, that's one aspect that still needs a little bit of research, but if you look at it, take a step away, hey, that makes a little bit of sense. So anyways, the main point is exercise can boost immunity, helps you fight colds, helps possibly, and I think through the research, you'll be able to verify it helps with COVID. So we got a ton of things so far I've thrown at you. Exercise. Why do you exercise? Why should you? Well, A, because you can. 2, lowers cholesterol, lowers blood pressure, boosts your immunity, helps you feel better, more happy. lowers your chances of diabetes. All right, these are all great things. Builds aerobic power. So let's go to number 8. It reduces body fat and regulates weight. Makes sense, right? Well, exercise burns calories, which can lead to weight and body fat loss. The more you exercise, the more calories you burn. And also, the more muscle mass you have on, the more calories your body burns at rest. So even when you're sleeping, you can burn more calories if you have more muscle on you. But what a lot of the research shows is maintaining a good body weight will help reduce your chances of so many different health issues. And exercise helps you do that. It helps you regulate, keep your weight down and where it should be. All right. Number 9, we're almost done here, folks, but I'm hoping you're like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I feel better when I exercise. I move better when I exercise. I perform better when I exercise. I don't have to be on as many meds when I consistently exercise. All these things. Now, number 9, one of my favorite to feel better. First thing first responders following a lot of my FRF programs, they report is, hey, Zam, I just feel better. I'm moving better. I'm not as sore. I feel like I am standing a little taller. I'm moving a little bit faster. And, the other thing is that exercise also can boost energy, can boost endorphins. So in general, you're just feeling a little bit better. You feel like you have a sense of accomplishment. There's also a lot of research that confirms this. You have feel-good neurotransmitters that start to exert their effects after about 20 minutes of training. So, regular exercise bouts boost this systemically. It also helps manage stress, which can boost your overall mental health and feeling of well-being. So you feel better when you consistently exercise. Number 10, to alleviate pain. Regular exercise is a great way to alleviate chronic muscle and joint pain. How many times you wake up in the morning, you're really stiff, but the more you move, the better you feel. It's exercise has been linked to decreased inflammation throughout the body. We talked about, just the hormonal responses that exercise can induce. And these hormones can then help with regulation of pain. They help with mobility. Better mobile you are, the more blood flow can reach to your muscles and to those sore parts of the body. And it's just a very positive cyclical effect of, one bout of exercise helping to alleviate a lot of these health issues. But in general, people that exercise more regularly, now you're going to still get stiff and sore from your workouts. But in general, the more blood flow you have, the lower your inflammation and the better you will feel. All right. I actually list, if you can click over to a blog post that I did, there's a great recovery workout, just some active movements, some stretching movements in there that'll really help to alleviate inflammation and help you move and feel better. Now, I also have numbers 11 through 21 coming up in the next couple of weeks on a podcast. So if this hasn't motivated you to get off your butt, start moving, those will. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Zam, you're right. I know I need to work out. I just can't. I got this, I got that. I got all these different things going on. Look, what a lot of the research showed was just 3 20 to 30-minute bouts a week really helped to bring forth these positive effects of exercise. So if you can't find 20 to 30 minutes, you need to evaluate where your life is at. I'll be honest with you here. Okay. You got 4% of your day that you can just, even if it's going off and taking a walk. And I've had a lot of conversations with chiefs. I've had a lot of conversations with firefighters lately because of the stress of COVID. And, right now we're seeing an abundance of overtimes within the fire service. But even with that, you have to find a way for a couple different reasons. Now, here's one that blows my mind and that I really want you to think about, right? If you have children, I've worked with parents through 30 years of working in fitness, and I hear it all the time, and I understand it. Hey, I got to get my kid to this thing. My kid's got to do this. My kid's got to do that. And I look at that individual and I say, well, what example are you setting for your child by not working on your fitness, by letting yourself get overweight, by not eating healthy? What are you doing for your child's well-being? And if you're doing all these things, I want to give my kid the best life. Well, maybe the thing that you need to do is take a step back and evaluate what example you're showing. Show your child how to eat more healthy. Show your child to be more active. And in general, that will transfer onto their success and their health much more than getting them to a baseball practice. Okay. Now I know that's a little harsh, but I really think we need to look in the mirror and say, look, I can give myself 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week. All right. So if you're just starting your journey on fitness, that's your goal. If you're looking for a little motivation, I hope I gave it to you. Listen for the next upcoming podcasts. I've been doing a lot of work on content, so I'm excited to just continually get this out to you. I love your feedback. Please send me a message. You think I'm on something or onto something. If I forgot something, you let me know. I am here to help you and your crew get and stay fit for duty, everybody. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow. Please tune in again soon for more fitness tips for fire rescue athletes.